Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and we are going to do episode 2 of my breakdown, react, review, response to season 2 of The Witcher. If you did not catch my first video, I'll put a tab up there. I discussed and reacted to the first 2 episodes, which were absolutely bonkers. So if you didn't see that, go check that out. And I guess a spoiler warning for this. We're going to be discussing episodes 3 and 4. So if you haven't watched those yet, maybe don't watch this video because I will definitely spoil them for you. So we're going to start off by going into episode 3. And again, this episode was another just super high intensity, exciting episode. We got a lot more of Yennefer's story in this particular episode. I felt like it was way more focused on her as opposed to Geralt a little bit, which the first 2 episodes were very heavily focused on Geralt and Ciri. This episode, it does start off with us getting that Ciri is actually, Geralt is deciding to actually train her and actually give her a shot and not just see her as like a little girl. And he starts training her, but he's still kind of like babying her a little bit, which pushes her to kind of break away from that and try to test her own self with like doing other challenges and such, which I love because it's showing us Ciri slowly becoming the badass that she is and like not being afraid to push herself. And like the thing that I love with the dynamic of what's going on right now too is she is at this Witcher camp where it's all men. There's no other women there. The only other women we ever see there are prostitutes. So she's already kind of facing an internal struggle of like, I need to show these people up. I need to show them what I'm made of. And I feel like this is the first episode where she genuinely kind of comes into her own a little bit and takes that in her own hands, her own fate per se, which continues into the 4th episode, but we'll get to that in a moment. Aside from that, we get the really awesome fight that Geralt has with like the weird centipede monstery creature thing, because they go into the woods looking for the tree guy and then they find this centipede thing, which was just nuts and so weird and creepy, and I hated and loved every second of it. And the thing that I thought was weird is it seemed like it was just focused on Ciri. Like, it didn't care about Geralt, it was only trying to get Ciri, which is kind of like making me wonder, is that foreshadowing for something, or am I just looking into it too much? Because I'm not totally sure if that is going to mean something. Aside from that, we get way more of Yennefer's story, which, that's a whole whirlwind itself. Because she comes back to the mage place or whatever with like the girl who taught her everything and stuff, and we see Triss and the other mages, and essentially she gets kind of almost herself gets put on trial because she's half elf, and there's this whole elven war going on, which I was kind of trying to figure it all out because I'm still a little confused as to, I get that like they're in a war with the elves or they don't like them, and Sintra and the Nilfgaard, everybody are like, you know, obviously in warring times, but I don't totally understand why they are. I don't know if maybe I missed something. I kind of touched on this in the last episode. They definitely gave us more for that storyline for me to understand what's going on, but I still, maybe I'm just missing something, the whole overall premise of why they hate each other so much. But we definitely see that that war is coming to a huge tension now, because the episode literally ends with Yennefer freeing the POW and then escaping with him. So like, obviously she's on the run now because she's in a whole load of shit, and she doesn't have her magic, which we learned at the end of episode 2. I didn't know what she was screaming about. She's screaming because she lost her magic. She can't do anything. So essentially, she's just kind of useless, which sucks. Because like, what's your point on, like, what's your point now? Because you can't do anything crazy like you did in the first season. I would assume it's gonna come back to her at some point. Like, come on. Like, what is Yennefer without her magic? It's gotta come back. I just don't know when that's gonna happen. So that's pretty much the 3rd episode. Then we go to the 4th one, which, going back to Ciri, we see her again choosing her own destiny, coming into her own, because Ciri meets Trish and she comes to the Witcher place and is like kind of teaching her more magic-y stuff, obviously. And I'm loving that because, like, we're learning that Ciri is so much more powerful than anybody thinks she is. And she's being completely overlooked in terms of her abilities, which I love because Ciri is such a badass and people need to not underestimate her. And my theories of, like, the creatures kind of coming for Ciri, they kind of hint at it in this one again, where she was the one who screamed and knocked down the pillar or whatever, which is where I guess the black soot stuff that they were inspecting from the creature is the same as the tree thing. So I don't know if all these creatures were created and they're coming after Ciri. So we still don't know exactly if they're actually targeting her or if she's the reason for them. We don't know yet. That's still to be determined, and we're still figuring that aspect of it all out. But I just love that we're getting more and more of this storyline. I love that we keep getting such dope creatures and villains that Geralt faces and goes after. Like, ugh, I love every bit of it. Aside from them, I actually really liked Yennefer's half of this story. I know I spoke in the previous video. I'm not, like, I like Yennefer as a character, but I feel like her story in this show is just not drawing me in enough. And this episode, I was actually really drawn into it because she's, like, on the run with the POW guy, and they're trying to get to Cintra for, like, a safety. And they meet up with Bard. I've been waiting for this because I loved him in season 1. So they bring Bard back, and he's just as awesome as he was then. And there's like a whole, you know, the whole scene with him trying to smuggle them onto the boat and everything was just like so exciting. And I felt bad for the dude that died in the sewer. Like, I was watching with Bobby, and he literally, the guy was giving his whole spiel of like how optimistic he is. And Bobby just turns to me and goes, "This guy's gonna die in like 30 seconds. And I was like, I know. Anytime a character is like too optimistic or too happy or excited, like they die. And you're just like, come on, man. So, like, I felt a little bad there. But I was glad that the dude that was his friend who ran off, like, kind of justified or validated himself when he, like, took the attention off of the guard so that they could sneak onto the boat. However, the episode ends with Bard, like, being attacked or something. I don't know what happened to him, but they better not touch my boy. So they better watch it. They better watch themselves. But Yennefer obviously can't leave now because she's got to help Bard. You can't just leave him. And I'm just wondering when we're going to get the whole, like, Yennefer and Geralt coming back together. Because Triss could have at any time told Geralt that Yennefer was alive, and she didn't because she's trying to get in his pants. Let's be honest. She's trying to have that man's for herself. She don't want to talk about Yennefer. But he doesn't know that she's alive yet. He still thinks she's dead. So I'm wondering when they're finally going to all come together again. And everyone's going to know that everybody's alive. Because I feel like we need Geralt to go save Bard. That might be the one thing that's needed to bring them together. So hopefully that's what happens. I don't know. I can't wait to see what future monsters and other things happen. We're already halfway through this series. Like, that sucks. I want more. How was there only 4 more episodes? And then we have to wait like a year? But honestly, if these first 4 were this, like, action-packed and intense, I can only imagine what is to come in these last. So I am so excited. But this is a discussion. I want to let you guys know my opinion, but I also want to know what you guys think down below. So comment your thoughts, your questions, your concerns about these 2 episodes. Let me know if you're liking the series so far. If you're kind of on the same part that I am, let me know what you've thought thus far of everything. And let's just have a discussion about it. Because I am so excited for this series, and I'm loving it so much. And honestly, it gives me such Game of Thrones-y feel. Like, Game of Thrones had, like, a weird baby with, like, Lord of the Rings. And I'm here for it. And, like, I have been missing Game of Thrones and stuff since it ended. So this is, like, filling that void for me. And I'm so here for it. But that is going to be all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. And that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for everything. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys!